Okay, so I don't typically get my expectations too high when I watch teasers or official trailers or anything, which is typically the reason why I don't watch trailers in the first place because a lot of trailers nowadays will just completely spoil the entire movie and give away too much, and then some trailers are misleading. The trailer for this movie, which I watched recently before I watched this film, was very misleading. The trailer paints it out to be this epic war movie about this elite group of women that went to war, but in reality, the movie was very hollow. It was very slow paced. It felt empty and very unengaging at times. Like, if all you want to watch is an action movie, you could just watch the trailer and you're good. But if you watch the actual film, you're gonna get a lot of dialogue sequences that are pretty uninteresting. You're gonna get like a few subplots that I wouldn't say don't make sense, but they don't feel like they really need to be in the film because it kind of detracts from what the film is supposed to be about, which is like the title of the movie, which is The Woman King. And at times I felt like I didn't really know who was the main character of this film because it feels like it's Naniska, who is the Woman King, played by Viola Davis. And then at times I felt like Nawi, which was a woman from the Dahomey village, which was given to the king to be part of the king's guard because she was a poor wife, for lack of better terms. Like, she couldn't make any man happy because she was very disobedient, she was arrogant, she was rebellious, and at times I felt like it was about her. But then you have a romance plot between her and this guy from Portugal or whatever, and then you have this subplot with Viola Davis, Naniska's character, where she was taken against her will. I don't want to say the actual word because of YouTube's bullshit nowadays, but they had that too, this revenge kick that was going on there, but it didn't really feel like it needed to be there because the whole story is supposed to be about this kingdom that is fighting against its oppressors. It's already a revenge flick, so you don't need another revenge subplot just to have it. And you also don't need a mommy-daughter trip in order to make it emotional because the movie is already supposed to be about people who are oppressed and enslaved fighting against their oppressors and their enslavers. That's already emotional, so you don't need some mommy-daughter story going on there. On the bright side, the movie was culturally rich and showing like the traditions and customs of the Dahomey, how you're not supposed to look at these women, and how these women are celibate and don't have husbands and will have no children. It's kind of like the Night's Watch from Game of Thrones, but like, I don't know how historically accurate it is, and actually I've read that it's actually historically inaccurate in the way they depict all these people because the Dahomey, supposedly, I don't know, I'm not a historian, were actually people who sold their people to be enslaved and actually just kept enslaving more people after this. It's not like they were heroes that were just trying to fight Europeans. And that's the thing, like, people are always trying to paint the white man, the white European, as this devil, that as this colonizer that just enslaves everybody they see. That is not true. A lot of people don't want to face the facts that a lot of the slavery was in fact due to African lords or kings who sold their own people to Europeans or whoever it may be. Like, it wasn't just white people going to Africa and just randomly taking people. It doesn't work that way. I'm not saying that never happened, but Africans did sell their own people to Europeans. But I'm not going to dive too much into this historical accuracy thing because that's not what I do. I just watch a film and judge it based on what I see. And what I saw was a very unengaging, boring, hollow movie with absolutely no depth, very uninteresting dialogue. I mean, this action sequences weren't bad per se. The issue is, in order to have a good action sequence, I mean, not necessarily good like in terms of choreography, in order to have a very good climactic action sequence, you need to build up to it properly, and it did not feel that way. It felt like they were focusing on too many things at once, things that I didn't really care about, like the stupid subplots that I mentioned that made sense, but they didn't need to be there, and they didn't really build up the anticipations towards those scenes, so they really didn't feel exciting to me. And I mean, they were performed decently, like they weren't bad. I mean, it was typical Hollywood shaky cam action sequences, so it was nothing special. It was all right, but they didn't build up to it properly. And instead of making it feel dragged out, they could have included more training for these women to show us what they have to endure, what they have to go through, everything they have to do in order to become a part of this elite group of women. And they also didn't answer, which I was very curious about, why is it all women? Because I'm not saying women can't do it. I mean, the movie shows very well that it doesn't matter if it's a man or a woman. If the woman is better trained and the men are unorganized, the women are going to win because they know what they're doing and the men don't. But what I'm curious about is that men are physically more competent than women. Like, that's not me being sexist, that's just a fact. Men are just better in every metric than women, so it doesn't make any logical sense to have women over men. So I'm wondering if, like, were they just low on men? Is that what was going on there? Like, I'm confused about that. Like, I'm not saying women can't fight at all. That's not what I'm saying. I mean, obviously they did, so I'm not saying that, but it just makes more sense to have men because they are better at it. So let me know in the comment section if anybody knows about that, because I don't. I'm not gonna do too much research on this. But yeah, the movie was pretty boring. I didn't expect too much, but it was very disappointing. I thought it would have been a little bit better than it was, but it was too dragged out. Maybe if it was, a little shorter, or if they cut out those subplots that were really unnecessary, it might have been a little bit more engaging because it would have gotten to the action a lot faster. But yeah, let me know how you feel in the comment section. If you feel the same way I do, or if you have a different opinion, please hit that like button. It helps me a lot to keep pushing my content out there. Subscribe if you have not already, and I will catch you in the next video. See you then. Bye-bye.